I call David Shearer.
Mr Speaker, it's my privilege to be able to stand and address this bill, and to also to say that Labor will be supporting this bill. And that support has come about through actually a pretty tortuous process, both through the Select Committee and through the committee stages, where the many issues that we had particularly opposed were reversed by the government, and we're very pleased that has happened. And as a result of that, we feel content with the changes and sufficiently content to back the bill. As I said, the bill has changed considerably since it was introduced. It was started off with as a bill to look at the Human Rights Commission and to bring in the possibility of a disability commissioner, which of course we supported, and I think there was a need there that needed to be fulfilled. But what the government did was use the legislation more as a sort of a Trojan horse to bring about other changes that we didn't agree with. And as the minister who just sat down noted, there was likely to be the individual designations, in particularly of the Race Relations Commissioner, currently held by Susan Devoy, and I believe she's doing a good job and a necessary job in our society. And I come from a city in Auckland which is the third most diverse city in the world, and certainly we need a Race Relations Commissioner. And secondly, the Equal Employment Opportunities Commissioner that is currently held by Jackie Blue, a former National Party MP, who is also, I have to say, doing a good job and is actually holding the government to account on many of the issues that have come up in front of it. So she's showing certainly no favour from her in terms of her previous employment. So those two particular commissioners we felt were necessary, and that was one of the reasons why we, in the first and second readings, and vehemently argued that those particular designations need to be reinstated. Sir, I want to acknowledge the work of my colleague Jacinda Ardern in the way that she has pushed this bill through, because she wrote to the minister setting out very clearly that we opposed the bill for that reason, but also for some of the other issues that had come up as well. The second issue was to spoke to the number of commissioners which were proposed to be limited by the amendments to this piece of legislation, and we didn't feel that limiting the number of commissioners was a very positive move. And thirdly, the other issue was that the commissioner, when seeking, laying out the chief commissioner and seeking to get their work program put in place, had to consult, and it sounded very much to us like had to get the acceptance of the minister. Now, sir, those are the three issues that we disagreed on. Jacinda argued those vehemently as with my other colleagues as well, Jacinda Ardern. She also wrote to the minister and wanted to get some confirmation that those three issues were not going to be problems. And as a result of that, an SOP was brought before the House at the committee stages, which fairly much reversed the first two problems that we had with the legislation, and was further clarified in the letter that the minister sent to Jacinda Ardern, that Jacinda Ardern had written to the minister. And as a result of that, we are now in a position to be able to support the bill. And effectively, sir, what this actually means is that the Race Relations Commissioner and the Equal Employment Opportunities Commissioner will stay in place, that the number of commissioners will not be curtailed and will not be limited. And as the Minister, Simon Bridges, who just spoke, gave us the assurance, and I'm sure this will be assurance that will be read, this Hansard will be read in the future when the Chief Commissioner is looking at this particular legislation in terms of guidance for their own work, will be able to see that the Chief Commissioner does not need to sit down with the Minister and seek approval for a particular work plan that they are embarking on. So the three issues that we were opposed to, sir, have all been met by the government. I want to thank the government for coming to the party and doing that. We are now effectively back, some minor tweaks, effectively back where we were before with the acceptance of a disability commissioner, which I think is which we think is a very positive move. And so as a result of that, this legislation is a reasonable piece of legislation, sir. We've spent a lot of time on it and a lot of effort on perhaps going in a bit of a circle, but nevertheless, it certainly is more acceptable, I think, not only to us, but I think it's a better piece of legislation for New Zealand and for defending the rights of New Zealanders, which this office is importantly given the job of defending. I can't count the number of times that the Race Relations Commissioner or the Equal Employment Opportunities Commissioner has spoken out in terms of what has been going on in our society, but it is welcome. It is a check on some of the more egregious issues that have come up. It's a means of letting off steam. It's a means of changing people's opinions, and so it plays a very, very positive and important part in the life of New Zealand. And so for that reason, I'm very, very pleased that Labor is now able to support this bill and is able to see that it will do and continue to do a very good job in terms of defending the human rights of New Zealanders, no matter who they are. Thank you.
I call